What's up you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a very exciting video. I am going to be tier ranking every book. Well, I'm going to be tier ranking most of the series that I've read. This is not all of them because I feel like if it were, we would be here forever. And I have read a lot of the typical booktuber books that they talk about, or at least the series is, because when I did get into reading, it was like in 2013, 14, I don't remember, but it's been a while. So I'm going to put in my tier thing now. So this is a template that I created on tiermaker.com. This is 26 series that I've read. And I have my tiers, as you guys can see. So as you guys can see, I have my tiers right here. I have 7 tiers. The first tier is my whole heart, obviously self-explanatory. These are the books that I really live for. I would sell my soul to read again for the first time. I'm only allowing myself to have 3 or 5 books in there. That's the max. Then we have Half My Heart, which is not as great as My Whole Heart, but not as bad as great stuff. So Half My Heart is like stuff that I really loved, but I can't put in My Whole Heart because I have enough. Then we have Great Stuff tier, the Good Stuff tier, self-explanatory. Then we have It Was Okay, like, you know, 3 stars. Then we have the No, simply No. But No is not as bad as Burn It. So the last tier is Burn It, Make It Stop Existing. Okay, so I have these books down here for you guys to see. I don't know how this works. I've never done this. So I'm going to talk you guys through my thought process and why I put certain things in certain tiers. This is so exciting. I'm having so much fun. I got my Snap Pellegrino. We're gonna crack one open, crack a cold one open with the boys. Is that what they say? I don't even know. The first book we have here is the Darkest Mind series by Alexandra Bracken, I believe. To be honest, not gonna lie to you guys, I don't remember half of this series. I remember the first book very faintly because I read it, I believe, in like 2014, 2015, back when the hype was around it. So I don't remember a lot about it. I do remember that I enjoyed the first book. I don't remember anything of the second and third book. I have like actually finished the series, but I don't remember any of it. I do remember it is a little bit for the younger ages. I should reread it just to see what it's about, but honestly I can't be bothered, and due to the fact that I don't want to reread it, I am going to put it in the It's Okay, because I don't know, it's a very like middle grade series in my opinion, and I haven't read it in a long time and I don't remember anything about it. What I do remember is that it was okay. I remember the first book, don't remember anything after that, so due to that, I'm just gonna put it that it was okay. By the way, disclaimer, these are just my opinions. Don't get offended if your favorite book ends up in the Burn It. Don't be offended if my favorite book is in your Burn It. You know, like, it is what it is. Cinder is a very like on the edge for me. I love the books. They came at a right time for me and my sister to read. We needed to read them when we did, simply because the fact we were moving. It was 2015. Was it 2015? It was like 2016, 2017? Yeah, like around that time. And we were moving and we didn't have anything to do. I hated my job. I was working at Walmart. I was miserable, and I was listening to this audiobook and playing Bubble Witch. If you have not played Bubble Witch, please do. It's so fun. It's so addicting. But Cinder is one of the most fun, or like the Lunar Chronicles in general is one of the most fun series I've ever read. It's really entertaining to read. You get attached to the group of people so fast. I love every single character in that series. I love their friendship. I love everything about them. I love the way it ended. I love just the whole thing about them. But I am contemplating whether to put it in Great Stuff or Good Stuff, because I don't remember a lot of the specifics, you know? Like, I very distinctly remember where I was at in my life when I read it, but I don't remember like specifics. I remember it made me happy. I remember I really enjoyed reading it. So I am, due to that, you know what, I'm just gonna put it in the Great Stuff because it deserves it. I enjoyed it. It was a good series. It was a fun time to read, and it kept me busy while we were moving, and I hated the moving, so it did that for me. So yeah. The Lux series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Okay, this is a tough one because I really enjoyed this series when I first read it, but it's very problematic. It has a very problematic areas in it from what I remember. I remember reading it like in 2015, 2014, like way back then, and like it was just now getting popular. And I remember, I don't even remember what the guy's name is in the book, but I remember it was like one of the first characters that I realized that I was like, oh my god, he's so hot. I don't know, because it is problematic and it is kind of stupid if I think about it like now versus then, because when I read it then it was great. But now that I've read so much more and like so much more of an open array of books, I think I'm gonna put it in the it was okay. Yeah. I'm being really ruthless here, you guys. I'm being really ruthless. Like Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. I listened to this series when I was going to, was it my third or fourth? No, it was my, either my second or my third year of college, and I was like commuting to and from campus, and I needed a book to listen to, and that was the series I chose to listen to. I do regret listening to it because half of the time I wasn't paying attention because I needed to focus on driving. And so I never, or like I also listened to it on 2x speed, which I didn't understand a single word of, so that's also doesn't help. But I do remember really getting attached to the characters and really loving them. And like, I love them though. I love who they are, and I love the relationship that was between them, and I'm gonna put it in the good stuff because I don't remember a lot of the details, and I don't remember how it ended. I don't remember anything about it. I do remember it making me happy, and I do remember really loving the characters and the writing, and those times that I did pay attention, I really enjoyed it, and so I really should like reread it though, like in person and like an ebook or a book version. Twilight is gonna put, some of y'all about to be real mad at me. Okay, Twilight. I have a very soft spot in my heart for Twilight. I read it when I was 14, 15. I was 14. I was a freshman in high school, and I was homeschooled for my second semester of high school. And I remember like staying up until 7 a.m. and like reading that and New Moon over and over again. I don't know why I didn't move on to Eclipse or Breaking Dawn, but I decided those were the ones that I was gonna repeat. The writing is pretty awful. The books are horrible. Not the greatest books, not the greatest type of literature, period. I don't know, but I do associate like a happier time of who I was and where I was, even though I was miserable. I don't know why I look back at that time very fondly, and I love like how attached I became to the series and like the soundtrack of it. And even now, like I watched Twilight the other day and I couldn't stop laughing the whole time through. It's like a comedy of how badly it's written and acted, but I do love it, and due to that I'm gonna put it in half my heart. Please don't talk to me. I have very like, I'm a very nostalgic person, and I have a lot attached to this series, so it's gonna go in half my heart, period. That's it. Don't come argue with your mama, don't argue with me. Okay, Saga. It is a graphic novel, comic-ish series, which is about like a futuristic dystopian world, sorta. I love this series so much, and it's so well written, and it literally broke my heart when I read the last one that I read. I don't remember which one it was, but if you know, you know. It broke my heart. It literally tore it out of my chest because I became so attached to these characters, and I love them so much, and it's just so well written, and the art is so nice, and it is an SFW, so don't read it if you're in a public place because there's very graphic scenes in there. But I do enjoy the story behind it. I enjoy the writing behind it. I enjoy just everything about it, and so I'm gonna put it in my whole heart because it did tear my whole heart out of my chest. So far so good. We have nothing in the know, and we have nothing in the burn it. Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Some of y'all are about to be real mad at me. Okay, let's start here. Okay, so the first 3 books I died for. I love them. Dorian is my baby. I love him. But when we got to the higher ones where Kale became, you know, I can't get with it. I don't like Kale. I hate him. I can't stand him. I don't care. I will not read the rest of them. And I really thoroughly enjoyed, like, I remember reading the first book like 4 times, I think, at some point, because I just enjoyed the writing so much. And Sarah J. Maas is a wonderful author. This series is just not it for me, and due to that, I am going to put it in the no tier. Argue with your mama, don't argue with me. I can't talk about it. I don't like it. I honestly, I would put it, should I move it to the it was okay? I'm gonna move it to it was okay, because that's where I had in mind first. I didn't mean to put it in the no. It was okay because I enjoyed the first 3 books. I enjoyed what they brought me in my life. I enjoyed the time I read them. But due to my baby boy not being the end game, I'm gonna put it was okay, and I'm not finishing the series. Don't come at me, because I just will not. Period. Divergent by Veronica Roth. Listen, don't even talk to me. It's going into my whole heart. If you know me, you know why. Listen, look at this. You know what this says? It says be brave. And you know why that is? It was because of Divergent. Actually, that was my first tattoo that I got when I turned 18, because of how much this book series has like value to me in my heart. So trigger warning for self-harm. If you want to exit the video now or like speed forward, I used to self-harm a lot when I was 14, 15, literally up until I was like a freshman in college, honestly. But I was really, really depressed, and I remember like just, it was at that point where I was like burying myself in books, and I loved books so much, and I just like would get like 10 books from the library and read them all in like 10 days, and like just like a pile, dude, like you don't even understand. It was my joy, it was my happiness, it meant everything to me. And so I refused to read Divergent because it was scientific fiction. I was like, I don't like scientific fiction. I didn't even know what that meant at that point. I didn't know there was like different genres at this point in my life. But I was a sophomore in high school. I remember that exactly because, and I'll let you know, refused to read it. Was not about it. Refused to read it for a good 6 months after seeing it like all over Tumblr and like Twitter, and people were quoting it, and I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Whatever. And then I saw a quote, I don't remember what it was, but I remember being like, wow, where is this from? And it was from Divergent, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna jump on the bandwagon and go read it. I read the first, I got it from the library, read the first 100 pages. The second day at school, I skipped for the first time ever. I'm not a skipper. I don't skip class. I skipped US history class because I wanted to read this book so bad, and I like read 200 pages in the time that class was happening, and I read it in the bathroom. I like skipped it. I went to the restrooms and I sat in a stall and I read for an hour, and then I came home that same day. Did not do my homework, but I finished the whole book. I finished the whole book in one day. And Tris just became like a really, like, in a silly way, I guess, she became my role model, and I loved her so much. And so this was like the very first book series that I told my mom I want to buy. Like it was the first book that I purchased after Looking for Alaska, which is like ridiculous because Looking for Alaska had destroyed my heart at that point. But I purchased it from eBay and I purchased that, and I didn't know there was a second book, but there was Insurgent, and so I also purchased that, and it was $20, and I didn't have a job. My mom didn't have a job, and I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm ordering like a $20 book, but she was like, it's okay. And I read it, and then the third book destroyed me. I hate the last book. I hate the movies. I don't hate the movies. I love the first movie. The rest I have not seen. I'm not gonna see either, but due to the fact that I have a tattoo of this book, and due to the fact that I have so much sentimental value like attached to this book, I'm a very sentimental person, okay? Very nostalgic person. I live in the past, okay? Don't come for me. But due to that fact, it's going into my whole heart. Don't argue with me, argue with your mama. Okay. To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. I love this series. I really do. Don't get me wrong, but it's been a while since I read it, and I don't remember anything about it other than what the books have told us. But I do remember it making me feel like so soft and cute, and like I loved it to death because I love Peter and I love Laura Jean, and I love that the sisters are so close, and like the family element of it. So I'm gonna put it in the good stuff just because I do love it. It was just, I don't remember anything about it due to that fact, okay? I'm sure if I remembered more of it, I'd put it in great stuff, but it is what it is. Wow, we have nothing in the know or burn it. Nice. Okay. The Winner's Curse by Marie Ratowski. Listen, my sister is gonna kill me for this, but it was okay. I don't remember a lot of it. Like I said, you guys, I used to read a lot of like popular YouTube series back in the day. And so I don't remember anything about this book series other than the fact that the love interest was cute and she was cute and their relationship was cute. I might reread it just because to like screw around and finish the series, because I haven't finished the series either. But I do remember it being very well written and the story was cute and there was a lot of like political stuff thrown in, so it wasn't just like a romance story, which was new for YA at the time, at least from what I was reading, and so I enjoyed it for that. So it was okay, but come at me once I finish like rereading it. Okay, Delirium by Lauren Oliver. No, I'm putting it in the no because it was a very interesting concept. If you don't know what this concept is about, it is about basically like falling in love is like a crime considered against the law, and Hulu actually adapted this, and there was like a first episode, like a pilot episode, and I believe Emma Roberts was in it, but I don't quote me on this. This was like 7 years ago at this point. Very interesting concept. That's why I picked up the book. I picked up this book because of the concept, but the execution wasn't very well done. It was very dull, very boring, not very interesting at all. I didn't really like it at all. And due to that, I'm just going to put it in the no, because even though it was a nice, interesting concept, it didn't pull through all the way. Okay. Unbecoming of Mara Dyer by, I believe it's Michelle Hodgkins. I don't remember this. It's been a while. It's been a while since this book has been a thing. Listen, Noah Shaw will forever have a soft spot in my heart, but this book is going in half of my heart because, and I'll tell you why. Maybe in the great stuff. Let's start there. Very problematic. Very problem. At least the second like version of it from Noah's point of view is very, very problematic. This version is cute. I love the first book. It's so cute. Noah Shaw is adorable in it. I love him to death. He's so cute. But, and there's a very big but, this book scared the shit out of me. Like, scared the shit out of me. I can't, like, if you tell me what's one book that had a lasting effect on me, and when it comes to fear, it's this and We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. This book scared the shit out of me. I was seeing things after I finished reading it. I was like 17, 16 at the time. And like I remember the last book screwing me up, like to the point where I thought like a hoodie that was touching my back from the door, like I had hoodies hanging up on the back of my door, and I like was like talking to my sister and it touched me and I screamed because I thought it was like the villain from the book. So due to that, like it's very well written, very interesting story, but it just not enough to be my whole heart or half my heart. I'm not very attached to it. I just remember really loving it, and I remember it having a lasting effect on me. And so due to the fact that it's a little bit problematic, it's gonna go in the great stuff, but it's a really good book series and very well written. Okay, we're moving through these at a very slow speed. Is it pace? Oh my god. Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. Don't talk to me. Okay, I'm allowing. Something has to move. Something has to move from my whole heart. Something very much has to move. You're going... Okay. Don't talk to me. Argue with your mama. Argue with your mama. You'll see why in a second. Infernal Devices. Don't talk to me. Don't come at me. Don't even, like, get at me. I'm allowing more than 5 books to go into my whole heart because I can't. I have way more than I need. Okay. Infernal Devices tore my heart out of my chest. At the time I was reading it, I was commuting an hour and back to go to school. It was my first year of college, and I remember reading it obsessively between classes. And I love it. Cassandra Clare's writing is one of the best writing I've ever read. I do feel like she's kind of tiring out this world, and I wish she would stop writing so many books in this series, just let it come to a conclusion. But I do love the characters. Will Herondale had my heart in it, and like the palm of his hand. He could say jump off a cliff and I would. Like literally, truly. I love Will Herondale. Tessa, I just love all of them. I love their friendship. I love who they are. I love everything about them. And don't argue with me, argue with mama. I don't, listen. It's one of the book series that actually like solidified my love for YA. So due to that, it's gonna go in my whole heart. Just because if you don't love Will Herondale, I don't trust you. I don't trust you. Games are going in the half my heart because they don't have as much like sentimental attachment to me, but I do love it, and I do remember like when the first movie came out, I was on Tumblr and everybody was talking about this is mahogany, and I was like, what the fuck is mahogany? First of all, let's start there. Second of all, no, I'm not gonna do that. And then I ended up watching the movie. Did I read the books first? I think I read the books first, and I like fell in love with them, and then I watched the movies, and I still haven't watched the last movie, believe it or not. But I do love the series. It's half my heart because I don't hold as much like sentimental value to it, just because I have like higher books that I enjoy. But that one is pretty high up on the list, better than great. I definitely think it's a staple if you're just beginning reading into the YA or just dystopian novels. And so yeah. Okay, Hush Hush. I don't remember the author name, but I do know where it goes. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's problematic. Its writing is awful. No plot. Like, truly nothing interesting about it. Don't like it. Despise it. Hate the characters. Hate the area. Like, the first book was alright. Everything else after that, just horrible. And don't like it. So it's just gonna go on the burn it. If it didn't exist, I would not mind. So, love that. Okay. Okay. Mortal Instruments. Going straight to my whole heart. You know why? Because when I first started reading that series, I started reading it on the recommendation of a friend, and I read the first book, and when I finished it, I threw it across the room. If you know, you know. But I do love the series. I love everything about it. Like I said, I love Cassandra Clare's writing. It's very, very, very important. Like, very, I think it's a staple almost in like YA books when it comes to that, and I think it's very, like, it's very well written, and the characters like grow so much over the span of like 7 books. And my favorite books are 3 and 5. And I do love this series. I love Clary, I love Jace, I love Isabel, I love everyone in the books so much. They're my whole, like, they're a family to me because I read it when I was so young, and I hold so much sentimental value to this series because I was in a really bad place in my life where I cried all the time, and I like wasn't happy, and this was when I was like 14, 15 maybe? No, I was 15 because I had just gone back to school after being homeschooled. And yeah, I really love this series, and don't argue with me. It deserves my whole heart. So, Harry Potter. See, I'm like, do I want to put it in half my heart because of the way J.K. Rowling acts? And like all the new books that keep coming out, and they won't let this series die. But also, I'm putting it in my whole heart because this is my whole childhood. I remember watching the movies when I was like, maybe like 8 or 9. I don't even remember. And I was like still in the Middle East, and my dad and me and my uncle would like sit around, and like my mom would watch it with us, and it was like the funnest time ever. It's very fun to me. I love it so much. I love everything like about them, and it just means a lot to me, you know? Like, it's something that I grew up with, and honestly, yeah, it deserves my whole heart because I love it. Okay. Shatter Me by Tahira Mafi, going straight to my whole heart. This is why I told y'all that I needed more than 5 spots, because there are still some books that I need in my whole heart tier. I have a tattoo of it, you guys. I literally have a tattoo that says Ignite on my back, on like literally my spine, because I love Warner. I love who he is. I love everything about the series. The first book is not that great, so push through it if you are starting to read it, because it's very, very boring. Like, they're just introducing the world and everything. But book number 2, book number 3, book number 4, Tahira Mafi just has a way of words. Like, she's such a good author, and she just like describes everything so perfectly, and I became so attached to these characters like Warner and Juliet, and Kenji's my whole heart. I love him so much. I love him to death. I want to protect him. I want to just like open up my heart, put him inside, and like close up my heart. I love the series. I love Ignite Me is my favorite. I literally have the word Ignite on my back. And yeah, I love Tahira Mafi. I love her writing, and I love the Shatter Me series. Don't argue with me. It deserves my whole heart. Don't care. Okay, Court of Thorns and Roses. That's what it deserves. It's what she deserves. Okay, I love everything about A Court of Thorns and Roses. Rhysand is, oh my god, oh my god. Feyre, like everything about this series that made me laugh out loud. Everything about this book series, I read it at a very, very rough time in my life. I was so depressed. It seems like I was depressed when I read all these books, but books are an escape for me. So when I'm depressed, I read books. And I remember like flying through this series like in a 24-hour readathon, the only and the first 24-hour readathon that I've ever done. And I just remember never wanting to put the book down because I was so attached to the story and the writing. But yeah, one of my favorite series is for sure. I will fight you on it. I don't care. Tamlin is trash. 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 Burn him. Make him stop existing. Okay? Empire Academy by Rochelle Mead. I'm gonna put it in the good stuff because I did enjoy reading it and I read it at a good time where I was supposed to be reading it. I was the same age. I enjoyed the characters. I even enjoyed the movie a little bit. It was alright. I didn't hate it that much because I wasn't really attached to the book series. I loved it, but like, I wouldn't say I loved it. Like, I liked it. I was okay with it. And yeah, I read all of the series and I read it at a time where it was very poppin' on YouTube, and so or BookTube, and I just wanted to read it. I wanted to see what the hype was about, and I did see what the hype was about. I don't think it's great by any means. I do think the writing was interesting. I haven't read it in a really long while and I forgot everything that happens in it. Like, the only thing I remember is the thing from the movies, and that's because like I watched the movie like 4 times just because I was bored. But everything else, I don't remember anything about the story, but I do remember I enjoyed reading it. I read it at a good time. And yeah, The Lightning Thief by the Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. It's going in the great stuff. No, not in the Half My Heart, in the great stuff, because it is a very middle grade series, and I read it when I was not middle grade anymore. I think I was like 17, maybe turning 18 at the time. I read the whole series. I enjoyed it. It was good. It was fun. It was a good time to read. It was nothing interesting. The writing was honestly really, really nice and really lovely. And that's why I would read, like, I wouldn't mind reading any more of Rick Riordan stuff. But I do think it is a very interesting series. I think it was very, like, well done. I think it was very well written, very good, like, I'm like struggling with the words. I'm not very good at describing books, but it was a good time to read. It was very enjoyable. It was very fun, easy to fly through, easy to read, easy for a beginner to read. And I enjoyed it, but I didn't like die for it, you know, but like I do have fond memories of it. So Legend Trilogy by Marie Lu, great stuff, because the ending of it killed me, shattered me. I love the characters. I don't remember anything about it though. Like, you asked me any details, I don't even remember the characters' names, but I do remember that I very, 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 like, should I move it to good stuff though? Yeah, I'm gonna move it to good stuff because I don't remember the characters' names. Obviously, it didn't leave that lasting of an impression on me, but I do remember how I felt when I read it. I do remember it had a very, very good, like, premise around it. Very interesting to read. Didn't get bored of it. Didn't, like, want to put it down. I finished all 3 books in, like, a week. And the ending of them killed me, and I don't know if there's any more books after it. I remember there was like maybe some rumor about it getting adapted, or there being a different book, but I do remember like really, really enjoying this book, so it's gonna go in the good stuff. Across the Universe by Beth Revis. This is a trilogy, I believe. It's gonna go in the good stuff tier. Yeah, I'm okay with putting it there. This series takes place on a spaceship, from what I remember. I don't remember a lot because it's been a while that I've read it. I believe it's been like, I was like 16, maybe 17 when I read this series. But I do remember really liking it. I obviously, like, I own, I believe, the first book, maybe all 3 books, I'm not sure. But I do remember really enjoying it. I remember reading through the 3 books really, really fast, and it was very interesting. It was like one of the first books that I read where it was like set in like space, and like it was a very, very interesting premise. Like, if you've read it, you know, like the mating thing, and it was very, very weird, very, I don't know, but very weird, but I enjoyed it. The writing was good. It was fun, you know, nothing special. Okay, Smoke and Bone, Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor is going in the My Whole Heart. And that is the only one, the last one that I will put in the My Whole Heart, because Okay. It tore my heart out of my chest. Like, I'm not even kidding you guys. I read it right after I read A Court of Thorns and Roses, so you could see like these two, the effect that they had on me. It was not a good idea to read them back to back because my heart was aching after I finished and I didn't know what to do with my life after it. But I did enjoy it. I had a good time reading it. I cried. I loved it. My sister loved it. We were both reading it at the same time. We both like died over it. Yeah, I even went to Prague because of this book. Like, I went to Prague, guys, because of this book. I threw a wishbone necklace over the Charles Bridge in Prague, so this book had a very, very, very lasting impression on me and my sister, and I love it, and I'm very attached to it. I have a lot of book tattoos now that I've known. That's like 1, 2, 3 tattoos that are book related that are in the My Whole Heart tier. So you guys, I love this book. Don't argue with me, argue with your mama. If you haven't read it, please read it. Read any of these books that have been in the My Whole Heart tier because, first of all, they're staples to the booktube community, and also I love them. People will tell you that Divergent doesn't belong in the My Whole Heart tier, but to me, I feel like books are a very personal thing, and if you enjoy it, doesn't mean everybody else has to, you know? Okay. Selection by Kira Cass is going in the good stuff because America is the most annoying character I have ever read about. Almost as bad as Tamlin. Her and Tamlin should be together. Like, honestly, truly, I hate her. I can't stand her. She's a horrible character. Maxon is adorable. He deserves better. He deserves the whole world. Give him the whole world. He's so cute. I love him. Aspen is trash. I don't like him. I don't care if he walked her down the aisle. I don't care. I hate Aspen. I hate him. I can't stand him. And the books that followed that with Maxon's and America's Daughter, not really interesting either. So it was good. I loved it when I read it when I was like 15. Really, like the Tug Your Ear for Me killed me. I was on the floor like rolling. Okay, The Young Elites. I'm gonna say it was good stuff because I listened to the last 2 books of the trilogy. I don't know if there's any more after that, but I do remember really enjoying the first book. I remember it being a good time to read. I love the characters. I love the premise behind it. I don't remember a lot about it. Like a lot of these books, I don't remember a lot about, other than the ones that are like in My Whole Heart and Half My Heart tiers, and obviously the great stuff tier. But it is a good book. I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the writing. The world is really interesting. The characters are really interesting. And I think I should stop listening to audiobooks because I don't remember anything about these books other than the first one, which is the one I read like in like physical book form. And so yeah, that is all of my books in tiers. So I have 7 in the My Whole Heart tier when I wanted to have 5. It's not bad. I mean, truly, like, these are books that I really, really enjoy. The ones in the My Whole Heart tier, I'm very attached to them. Like, I have 3 of them tattooed on my body, obviously. And the other of them, like, I'm really nostalgic and attached to, like, emotionally. Then you have the Half My Heart, which has 3 books in them, which I'm not mad about. I do love them. But not as much as the My Whole Heart. Then we have the great stuff. I'm very happy with the great stuff tier. Obviously, you know, it was a good time to read them. Really enjoyed them, but wouldn't put them in the Half My Heart tier. Then you have the good stuff tier. Self-explanatory. Good stuff. Enjoyed it. Didn't die over it. We're talking like 3.5 stars, you know? Then we have the It Was Okay tier. We're talking like 3 stars. Did I really put Obsidian in the 3 stars? I'm moving Obsidian to the It Was Okay. No, it was the good stuff. Okay. Damn, I was ruthless with It Was Okay. Okay. Yeah. The It Was Okay tier is like 3 stars and higher. So, yeah. 3 stars is not bad by any means. Then you have the No, which is like 1.5, 2 stars, you know? Then you have the Burn It, which is no stars. Hate them. Don't like them. Don't want to talk about it. Hate it. So if you want more, if you want me to rank my standalone books or like contemporary books or like romance books, I really enjoyed doing this. So I'm probably going to do a lot more with like tiers and stuff. That is it. That concludes. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know down below. Let me know if you want me to rank any more of like separate genre books. I'd be more than happy to do that. This was a lot of fun. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if your tiers match my tier. If not, let me know why. Don't judge me for my tiers. Like I said, this is just like personal opinion and personal attachment to books. But that concludes today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Always remember to keep your head, heels, and standards high and to treat people with kindness. And I will see you guys again next week with another video. Little sausage is up. Bye guys.